Welcome back to Don't Bother Wearing Seatbelts. We're excited to share a very special episode today as we're joined by Jake Whitener, someone who has truly lived the ultimate indie rock fan's dream. Jake is a former A&R director at Matador Records, plays in a fantastic indie rock band, and is the founder and creator of Bazooka Fest, now in its second year. And honestly, the lineup for this year's festival ranks among the greatest we've ever seen assembled for an independent music festival. Our conversation goes everywhere. We talk about Jake's appearance in the Pavement movie, what it was like presenting Bob Pollard of Guided by Voices with a trophy during the band's 40th anniversary celebration, and we even put him on the spot to count down his 5 favorite Elephant Six songs of all time. If you love indie rock, the stories behind the music, and hearing from someone who has experienced it from nearly every angle, as a fan, musician, record executive, and festival founder, this is a conversation you absolutely do not want to miss.
Came into the world of indie rock, working for Matador, and then the culmination of this festival.
I feel like I'm a very rare in terms of like one of the last intern, success stories.
I love your Steve Keen art behind you.
Thank you so much. I love your Pollard throws a no-hitter. My partner gifted me that for my birthday 2 years ago. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's a great shirt. My son's mom, we were married for 13 years, and the first of I asked her out. She worked at a coffee shop in Indianapolis, and I was working at the Symphony across the street. And I'd kind of been courting her a little bit. And then, so I finally got up the courage to ask her on a date. And I was like, "Oh, you want to go see Guided by Voices with me?" And she's like, "Oh, where's that?" And I'm like, "In Bloomington. It's like 2 hours away." Like, nah. But on our 7-year anniversary, they were playing in Des Moines where I live, and so we both had these matching shirts on our.
That's amazing. I was gonna say for each hour of driving, you'd probably get each hour of Guided by Voices for that show. So it's pretty fair. Yeah. Pretty fair trade-off.
Yeah, that's true.
She was not into driving for 2 hours on a first date to watch a bunch of 40-year-olds jump around and have fun. But awesome. Yeah, so good to meet you. We're excited to talk to you today. Thank you for joining us. I'm Patrick, and that's Matthew over there. He's over in Michigan, and I guarantee if both of us were in New York City in a couple of weeks, we'd be at your festival. So,
my God.
Thank you. I mean, I really appreciate this. I mean, doing this podcast, genuinely, it's kind of surreal for me because I'm such a fan. I'm such a fan of like the Elephant Six in general, but like your podcast is so good, and the fact that you get to like interview all these people that we really look up to and like have been listening to forever. It's just such a cool show that you guys have been doing. So,
well, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And last year, you started off this festival with Elf Power, with Kleenex Girl Wonder, another one of my favorites. Tell us a little bit about, just you in general. You used to work for Matador as an AR rep, which I want to, how can I get your own old job? Because so tell us a little bit about you, how you came into the world of indie rock, how working for Matador, and then the culmination of this festival.
I feel like I'm a very rare or very rare in terms of like one of the last intern, you know, success stories
I love that.
from a particular time.
Oh,
I
so you actually started as an intern.
Yeah, yeah, I did. I'm originally from the Bay Area, and my introduction to indie rock really, what I mean, I was like a huge fan of, growing up, I was a huge fan of like what was going on in Detroit. So like the White Stripes were kind of a gateway
Yeah.
into kind of like lo-fi punk and garage rock music. So like I became obsessed with the Dirt Bombs. Like that was one of my favorite bands of all time.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
and when I was in high school, I grew up in Castro Valley, which is in the East Bay. It's like just far enough removed where like a lot of the kids, there's a rodeo in our town, and you're either like really into country music or really into like emo and Metallica, which like I was definitely into. But
Sure.
but that sort of like lo-fi zone, there weren't a lot of kids in my high school that were into it. And
Like early 2000s. When is this?
yeah, I graduated in 2008.
Okay.
And I just started getting into this, like it was eighth grade is when I discovered, the White Stripes. It's right after Elephant came out. Actually, I have to owe credit to this Barnes and Noble employee because I was 13 years old and I came in and I heard, which now I think it was Black Math. They played Black Math on the radio. So I came into Barnes and Noble with my grandparents because I was 13, and they're like, "Okay, you can get a CD."
Right, and Barnes and Noble had a pretty extensive like music department at that time too.
Oh, it was amazing, and they had the listening stations too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, and it was kind of one of those things where it's like my grandparents didn't really like going to Tower, or convincing my parents to take me to Tower Records. It's like that was a real treat. But, I was kind of like a, you know, nerdy kid who loved to read. So I'm like, Barnes and Noble was kind of heaven for me because I'm like, oh, go
Yes.
check out books. And there's also music that I can maybe get while I'm here. And anyway, long story short, I asked this employee, I was like, I don't know what the name of the song is, but it's a White Stripes record. And then the guy goes, oh, he's like, yeah, I know which one you're talking about, but I think you might want this one. And it was the very first record, which is completely stripped back, very lo-fi, very,
Very
I don't
much.
know. It blew my mind. But this is all to say, like, my friend Nate, this new kid came to town in high school in my sophomore year, and I knew he played bass, and I was starting a band. I was like, yeah, I want to do like this garage rock thing. And he joined the band, and he's like, it's really fun, but what if there was more pop stuff, kind of like, Elephant Six? And I was like, what does that mean? And and he was kind of like my gateway into the more indie rock side of things. So like he was the one that told me about Neutral Milk Hotel, Olivia Tremor Control, but then also like Pavement and Sonic Youth.
Yeah.
And he like he cracked open my world ever since. And like that was a direct line. I was like, this is everything I love. It's pop music. I was a big fan of the Beatles. It's lo-fi. It's noisy, but it can be intimate. And that's just what I wanted to do. And long story short, after I graduated high school, I ended up moving to LA. Just because, to be honest with you, it was like way cheaper at the time to live there than the Bay Area.
Where in LA
And
did you live?
I was in Koreatown.
Okay.
So like right on the border of, Silver Lake and Echo Park-ish area. And, I was still a teenager. I think I was 18 at the time. I'm like, I need to move away. I need to have my own space. So I moved to LA, but I didn't know anybody. And I was looking online. I saw there was a guitar shop named Old Style Guitars that was pretty close to my apartment. And I would walk there. And it was run by this guy named Ruben. It was a very small guitar shop. And he would like reconstruct old, Japanese Taisho guitars or like retrofit old acoustics with like old pickups. And again, it was like the guitar equivalent of music I really loved.
Yeah.
And I became obsessed with that place. So whenever I wasn't working, I would drop by and talk to Ruben. And eventually he was like, "Hey, what do you want to do?" I was like, music, something in music. I'm like, I don't know what, but I know I want to work in music or with musicians. And he goes, well, let me ask around and see if, I can get you an internship somewhere if you're interested. I'm like, yeah, sounds great. A couple months go by and, was working at a coffee shop, nothing was happening. And I was 100% true story. I was in my car waiting to start my shift at the coffee shop, and I was looking at places on Craigslist to move back to the Bay Area
Oh no.
because I was like, I don't like LA. Like you know, this is just not the town for me. I just don't know what to do. And as I'm looking online, I get an email from Miwa, from this woman Miwa, and I saw her signature. She was the head of West Coast operations for Beggars Group.
Oh
And
my
then
God.
I saw
Wow.
it's like I didn't know what Beggars Group was, but I saw the little labels and there was Matador. I was
Yep.
like, oh my God. It's
And
like
and three or four other big ones that are juicy too.
exactly, exactly. It's like I didn't know what that was. I didn't know they were all related. I was like, oh my God, 4AD, Rough Trade, XL. Of course I knew XL because White Stripes and everything they were doing in the UK. And she's like, hey, I heard you might be looking for an internship. Want to talk? I'm like, absolutely. And
No, I'm busy. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And I learned when I met Ruben that they had also just moved there, I think a few months before I did. And he set up this guitar shop. So they were fairly new too. And he was married to Miwa. He didn't tell me, but they were married at the time. And Beggars was setting up an office in LA. And my first day, I was still there, and they were, one of my jobs was unpacking the records and putting them on the shelves, which was an amazing way to learn about even deeper catalog that I didn't know. And that's where I got to meet Chris Lombardi, the co-founder of Matador, and that's where my internship
Wow, that is
started.
so cool.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
an A&R rep in the 60s or something is probably a lot different than an A&R rep now. Tell us a little bit about, after the internship, what your roles kind of became.
Well, what was funny about that is there was this day where Chris sat me down and he's like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I want to do A&R. I want to like sign bands. And he goes, well, the A&R is different now. I mean, this was like 2011. He's
Like,
like,
that's my
A&R.
job.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. In retrospect, now that I think about it, I'm like, totally. Because Matador didn't have A&R people. And he was like, you have to like learn, it'd be helpful to learn other areas of music, in addition to, discovering bands and trying to sign bands. And I was like, got it. So I started a label, and the rest is history. And outside of starting a label, I became a music publicist for 4 years. I worked at the reception desk of a music management company. Basically, anything in music I could do to work is what I did on the side of, releasing records. And but I'd always stayed in contact with the Matador guys, especially Chris. And this, I'd been a publicist now for about 4 years, and I hadn't been to New York before. And I flew out because I was working with a band who was playing on Colbert, and I just hit up Chris. I was like, "Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. We'd love to meet up." And I got to meet him and Patrick. And after that trip, about a month later, they're like, "We have an idea for a job, but you have to move to New York." I'm like, "Okay." And they're like, "It's a director of A&R role." I was like,
Wow.
"What?" Which is crazy because again, like they didn't really have A&R people. Like Robbie Morris, who was there before me, was doing some A&R, but this was like the first like proper A&R job at Matador. And it really yeah, it really changed my life. That's a long answer to your question,
Oh, I love
but
that.
I think with Matador in particular, they are such a unique label for exactly what you just said a couple minutes ago, where really you have Chris Lombardi, you have Gerard Cossoy, the other co-founder, and Patrick Amory. Like those three guys were the A&R for, since the beginning of this label, Patrick a little bit later after he joined. So stepping into that role was quite a unique thing. I also had a coworker, Emma, uh, who is amazing. She's brilliant. At the time, she was 18, just turned 18 years old. And the two of us would talk about bands that we really love, and we want to, pitch them to the three partners. But each one of them has such a distinct thing that they really like or that they're looking for. And to get them all on the same page or excited about an artist was quite a learning process. But I think that's what makes that label so great and the curation so great because this is something Gerard would drill into us all the time. He was like, if they sensed a little hesitation from me or Emma or Chris or anybody, they'd be like, we should wait. We shouldn't go after this.
Hmm.
Because he's like, we all have to be as enthusiastic and into this if we're going to take on an artist and be a part of their career and what they're doing. We all need to be on the same page and excited about it because otherwise that's not fair to them.
Yeah.
And it's not fair to all of us who are, and the rest of the employees who were asking to work this music.
Yeah. Well, and I think that the cool thing, of course, along with Elephant Six Collective or whatever, Matador has always been kind of my favorite label. And because Pavement, Yola Tango, Guided by Voices, Cat Power. I mean, I can spend 20 minutes listing bands off.
Yeah.
But I used to work for Day Trotter
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
in the early to mid 2000s, and that was really cool for me to get to work, selling advertising to Matador, just getting to talk to, the people there. And I can remember kind of when they had signed Times New Viking and a band that's going to be on your festival this year. And my band had actually gone on tour that year, and we were playing in Ohio. And of course, who's the bartender and the sound guy running sound for us of the night? I'm like, you're in that band? Yeah, I just sold an ad for you on Day Trotter. Matador loves you. You're in a good situation. So
That's crazy.
it just shows you how small a world indie rock is, and it always
Hmm.
continues to amaze me as we do this podcast or as we talk to people how you walked into a guitar shop and because you are you and you are enthusiastic and excited and love music that you got this cool opportunity to work with a just a legendary outfit of music, some of the greatest music ever made. So what was your kind of favorite experience working there? Like whatever, like maybe a story with a band or because what years were this? What years did you actually get hired then?
I started officially 2018,
Okay.
and then in February of this year is when I left.
Okay. So
And
well, craziness with pandemic, uh, pavement reunions,
yep.
like albums celebrating 25-year anniversary, like you have all of this kind of because the label could just be a nostalgia label at this point, right?
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about how that rolled for you.
I think to start, like during my internship, I was an intern from 2011 till 2013. And like in 2011, like for me, that was the other golden years of Matador because, Smoke Ring for My Halo with Kurt Vile just came out. You had Fucked Up with David Comes to Life. Just so many great contemporary Matador bands were putting out records then. And then when I went back to Matador, when I properly got hired, um, it was really interesting that, the active roster, the roster that they had was pretty different than when I left it. And, I think for them is like they did not want to be just a, nostalgic label. They constantly wanted to look at new stuff and artists that they felt were pushing things forward or doing something interesting, because that's how they started, and that's something that they really, really held dear. And I think it's a testament to those guys that, like, a lot of the bands who aren't on Matador anymore, they're still friends with, or there's no real hard feelings between everybody, which is pretty, it's an amazing thing to see. But in terms of like my favorite experience, there's so many. Two immediately come to mind. One was the Pavement movie. I don't know if you guys have seen the new Pavement movie.
Yeah.
So there was a weekend where Alex Ross Perry was like, we want to take over the Matador office in New York and turn it into a set, because they were shooting the biopic portion of this film. And they're like, we want to convert the Matador office into how it would have looked in, 1994, 95. And they needed someone to hang out through the shoot, because they were shooting over the course of a weekend. And I was like, absolutely, I'll do it. Because I just love Pavement. I love Pavement so much. And
It was a real experience.
it was a real experience. And like leading up to this, like I think what a lot of people don't fully know about that movie is actively Alex had been working on it for 3 years, but the inception of it was way earlier than that. I was trying to hunt down music video masters for Pavement. That's how I got to meet Lance Bangs and talk with Lance Bangs and try to, get some music video masters for him or any content that he had. And for a couple years before they were shooting, I was enmeshed in Pavement videos and their deep catalog, and they were already one of my favorite bands, but it became even more precious.
Your hands and let me see the things you keep in there.
So when this opportunity came up, I was like, absolutely. And I was in the office, and Jason Schwartzman was there, Joe Keery was there, Tim Heidecker, Fred Hershinger, all the actors were shooting the scene. And Alex goes, the director, he says, hey, there's this scene. Would you want to be an extra in it? I think it'd be cool to have like a Matador person in it. And there was a production assistant, and she was an intern at Matador the same time I was, but in New York. And she was going to be in it too. I'm like, oh my God, absolutely. And Alex goes, I was wearing this Flaming Lips shirt. I almost wore it today. And Alex goes, well, let's get you down to wardrobe and find something that's like era appropriate. And I was like, well, this Flaming Lips design is from 1993. So I think this will actually work. He's like, oh my God, that's amazing. And sure enough, I went upstairs, and it was during the scene where like Jason Schwartzman is arguing with the band. Jason Schwartzman, playing my boss, Chris Lombardi, is arguing with the band about Wowie Zowie, and he comes out the door. They storm out the door. Then there's us like trying to listen in. And
that's you. I remember that scene.
Yeah, that was me. And it was so funny, because then I went to Lincoln Center and saw the premiere of it at the New York Film Festival in like this huge theater. And I'm like, I pop up on the screen, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so nuts. But Pavement was the very first Matador band I ever learned about, because of Nate. And it was huge for me, because being in that, it's one thing working at Matador, but I think like being in something like that for one of my favorite bands is, I just couldn't express how much it meant to me and just how emotional it was to do that. My friend Nate, passed away about 5 years ago. So being a part of that and knowing that he kind of introduced me to pavement, I don't know, it was very
Yeah.
it was heavy, but in a happy way. Um,
Well, and I think the coolest thing about that is, that movie, you, and Matthew, you have to see it if you haven't seen it. You don't, I'm a huge Pavement fan, so I knew what was reality and what was kind of like, this world, right?
mhm.
This strange world where there's a Gary Young toenail from the 40 watt at a museum, like these things that, uh, and I was trying to explain it to a friend I was introducing to Pavement, like your friend Nate would.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think it's so cool because you were a Matador intern at one time. You were, in this, and now you get to be put back into that world. So you don't really know, like, oh, isn't that guy who actually works at Matador? Why is he there at 94? So you get to kind of
You're so right. Yeah.
you get to kind of experience kind of like even Pavement did in this movie, with
Yeah.
this mock museum of them, or this theater production happening or whatever. It
Yeah.
was, as a fan of film, of course, seeing all that archival footage that, probably you kind of confiscated from over the years and stuff was incredible for me. But then to see, you know, it never ceases to amaze me. And I just saw them again 2 weeks ago
So lucky.
up in St. Paul. Um, and Bob Nasamovich used to live in Des Moines, so I have I had a relationship with Bob, of course, and just to see them in that film, and the thought that went behind that, I was just like, this is just perfect. Like, some people aren't gonna like it. Some
Yep.
people, if that's somebody's introduction to Pavement, they're gonna be like, what the fuck? Is good. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
like they always are the smartest ones in the room, and that movie it was perfect. So I'm so glad that you got to be a part of that.
Thank you. Yeah, that was, yeah, you nailed it on the head. Like getting messages from people once it started like releasing in little theaters across the country. People were like, "Was that you? Like, was that you in the in that scene?" I'm like, "Yeah, that was me. That was me. It's a part of it." Funny enough, I think this happened, the filming of the movie and this next thing happened in the same year. Guided by Voices, GBV 40 in Dayton.
Oh yeah.
I'm a, massive GBV fan. Um, you know, they're my favorite band easily. It's like them and Yola Tango are like my two constants throughout my life.
Good choice.
And yeah, thank you. And I wanted, I knew I had to make a trip to GBV 40. I just love them so much. I'd seen them, so it was one of those things where like I'd seen them any city I lived in, LA or New York, when they were coming through, I will go see GBV. And it was such a monumental thing. I was talking about it with my partner, and she threw out this idea. She goes, "Oh my God, you guys should make like a beer trophy, like one of those like bowling beer trophies, and give it to Bob." And I'm like, that is so brilliant. That's so brilliant. And I raised it to Chris and Gerard and Patrick, and they were like, "What? Totally, totally. Let's get a trophy made." So we got this crazy trophy made. I, strap it, literally seat belted into my car at the time. And I'm like, okay, I'm driving to Dayton. It was like going to Graceland for me. I'm like, I'm going to Ohio. Um, and get to the show. I'm texting with their manager, David Newgarden, who's amazing, by the way. That guy has been such a special person in my life. And I'm like, hey, I have the trophy. Let me know, to hand it off to you. He was going to be there with David presenting the trophy to Bob on stage. I'm like, that's great. So I'm like, hey, David, I'm here. I have the trophy. Let me know, when you want to grab it from me. And he goes, hey, do you want to present it to Bob with us? I'm like, oh man. And this is like 20 minutes before it's supposed to happen. I'm up front on the railing, like holding the trophy in like a bag. I'm like, I'll be right there. So I, go around, they usher me backstage, and I meet Bob really quick. I'm like, hey, like it's so, congratulations, I'm from Matador. You're one of my favorite bands. It means a lot for me to be here. Just congratulations on 4 years. He's like, oh, thanks so much. Gives me a hug. So they go on stage and I'm waiting on the side. I pull out the trophy and they go, okay, it's time to go. And we come out and surprise them and they give me a microphone. I get to say, hey, I'm Jake from Matador Records. We wanted to present you with this trophy to King Shit and the Golden Boys.
This one is on the house. This one is better than ever.
Yeah.
And got to give it to him on stage. And again, that was such like another huge, it was a big year for me. Because these bands like really formed my musical taste and life. And those were pretty huge.
No, I think I know the feeling. Doing this show for the past 2 years has been me just being able to talk to my heroes over and over and over again.
Totally. And really quickly, one last thing was, ever since high school, I read about Hanukkah with Yola Tango. And I was like, my goal in life would be to go to all 8 nights.
Oh, yeah.
And I finally did it this last December.
Year?
Yeah,
awesome.
did it last year. So I capped it off with a great, another
awesome.
life milestone. So
no shows last year were great. I mean, you had Jeff Tweedy, a Wilco, and the Feelies. Did the Feelies play one of the nights? Or
I don't think it was the Feelies. There was Built to Spill.
Oh,
Wilco.
Of course, always great comedians.
Oh my God, the comedians were they're always good, but they were really great this year.
Did Susanna Hoffs play last year?
She did, yeah. She was a surprise.
Oh my God,
she was a surprise guest.
My like childhood crush. You got to see her.
Also, Ohio. I'm wearing the shirt. Scrawl was a surprise, which like I lost it.
I don't know them.
Oh my God, they're so good. Totally under-celebrated Ohio band. I think also from Columbus. They have songs like Charles, get out the way. I don't know. I lost it when I saw that they were a surprise guest. I was like, you have to listen to Scrawl. So I guess
it's so weird when I hear about bands coming out of Columbus, Ohio, because I used to live there briefly, and it's just such a shit place to live.
Why there's good bands coming out of it, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's a lot bigger than you think it is. I think it has 1 million.
Yeah.
I can remember whenever we would tour there, always kind of being a little bit disappointed in the outcome of the evening. But we always played with cool bands, and it was always just kind of like, a strange experience. So
that's so funny you guys say that, because like to me and Kira, like outside of Athens, like we're like Ohio is like the promised land. Like every good piece of music is coming out of either out of Georgia or Ohio.
Everything is beautiful here.
Like we have like a combined Ohio playlist.
There's a lot of great stuff that came out of Ohio, that's for sure.
Yeah. So we have a ongoing. My dream was I was trying to get Scrawl to play this year, and I wanted a 1, 2, 3 punch of Ohio bands on that first day with Times New Viking, Cloud Nothings, and Scrawl.
Wow.
But
okay,
couldn't do it this year. Maybe next year.
Cloud Nothings.
Yeah, I gotta check out Scrawl.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the festival. So last year you started this festival. Last year I can remember seeing the lineup and being like, wow, this is a really cool festival. And then this year when I saw the lineup, now I think it's obvious we have very similar tastes in music. but I think this is the greatest line. This is like the best lineup since Monterey Pop.
Oh my God.
Seriously. You have Stephen Merritt, you have Dan Bayer of Destroyer,
Destroyer, yeah.
you have Kiwi Jr., who I love, you have Joanna Sternberg, who I love. Like, uh, it's just chock full of brilliance. And then, of course, we're having you on here because of the Elephant Six connections. You know, last year you had Elf Power as a headliner. This year, Giant Day is playing, Great Lakes, Garment District. So, it's incredible. Tell us about the.
Thanks so much. That wow, that means a lot to me to say that.
And you're a Bay Area boy, so you know all about Monterey Pop.
I am a Bay Area boy for sure. Yeah. So I play in a band. I have a band called Sunshine Convention, and in LA, when I was living in LA, I was friends with a lot of bands at that time with Burger Records and that kind of like psych rock, thing was really huge. And that was something that I really loved, but there were like these other bands that were like a little weird or, outside of that psych rock and roll world that I was like, it was hard for them to get shows in LA. Like it was hard to get, booked at the Echo if you weren't affiliated, if you're a rock band, were affiliated with Burger Records. So there was a venue called the Hi-Hat. And I was like, I want to make a festival that spotlights like these bands outside of Burger. It's like it's not anti-Burger, but it's like we want to offer a different thing in LA. There's another scene that's happening here in rock music. And we called it Unseen. And it was something that I really loved doing. It just went for 2 years. It was very small, but I think one of the struggles, one of the difficult things about being A&R or like working in music is, you can't sign every band you love and you can't work every band you love. And a big thing that I'm constantly trying to figure out is how I can help bands that I come across or who are growing in some way to spotlight them, to help just like a little bit and contextualize them with like other artists that, they might be affiliated with. And that's what the festival was. But then when I moved to New York, I thought that was done for me because working at Matador, it was a lot of time. But then in the back of my mind, we played a venue called Our Wicked Lady, and it had 2 stages. And I started talking to my band. I'm like, hey, so I used to throw this festival in LA. Maybe I can do it here in New York. And it was really just like a little idea that I wasn't sure I was going to go through with. But as a band outing, we saw the Elephant Six documentary was premiering, and I had just read Endless and had given it to my partner Kira, who is part of the band, and her and I became obsessed with that book. It's like we were already fans of so many of these bands, but outside of just the music, learning about how everyone played on each other's records, how they would have the potlucks, how they were, they would make tapes or record like albums or EPs that they wouldn't even publicly release. They would just give it to each other. And that was something that just felt so special to us. And as a band outing, we were like, let's all go see the Elephant Six documentary. And as I was watching it, I started, I don't know, it just hit me very emotionally that I want something like that. And I had heard about Athens Pop Fest, Mike's Athens Pop Fest. Their lineups were so amazing, and it just sounded like so much fun. And like you just said, there's such a strong through line in indie rock and underground experimental music. Where like for me, I can see such a straight line from what Elephant Six is doing to the pains of being pure at heart, And
Yes.
that next wave of kind of like indie pop bands that came out in the 2000s to now, especially in Chicago, what's happening in Chicago right now with this, youth beat movement. And I was like, to me, that's like the ideal, is to have all these bands through all these different times in indie rock together and playing together in a venue that's small and not, it's not the most glamorous venue in the world. And really just try to put together a festival that, the newer bands who were inspired by would have artists that they were inspired by playing. And then the headliners would have bands that they had played with before, were fans of before, and really curate everybody playing together, knowing that they're fans of each other.
Yeah.
And hoping that the people who were coming to see Elf Power or the Moles would stumble on something like Golden Apples or Star Cleaner Reunion and go like, wow, like this is a new band I haven't really heard of, but they're part of that fabric.
Yeah.
And then also giving that like jolt to like the newer bands going, oh my God, Elf Power. I can't believe I'm playing with Elf Power.
Right.
And genuinely, it all stemmed from reading that book and watching the documentary. And yeah.
And I think what you said about just like just having it in your heart to help, even if you can't work every band or help every band or sign every band, to help bands just a little bit. The thing I even saw yesterday was that you had posted on your Instagram or whatever a spreadsheet of every band who is playing's Bandcamp for Bandcamp Friday. So if
Yeah.
you wanted a quick access to check out these bands, they're going to be playing your festival in a couple weeks. Here's a spreadsheet I put together. I was like, man, this guy's the best kind of nerd. He's the,
Yep.
you know what I mean? Like
Oh,
he's
man.
putting together a fucking spreadsheet for band camps to share on social media. Somebody can have the quickest access to all of this music if they want. Oh, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I say that in the most loving way, like,
I wear that with honor. Thank you.
yeah, yes, no, I mean, I
Very
was just like,
kind.
I was like, God damn it, this guy's so great. So I just commend you for that,
Thank you.
and that's what keeps the indie rock world so small and such a beautiful community, whether
Mhm.
you're in the East Bay of Oakland or in New York City or in Athens, Georgia or Athens, Ohio. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. It's like the people just love music. They're inspired by it. It moves them. It changed their lives. It saves their lives.
Mhm.
And I think what you're doing is just fantastic, and you should be so proud of yourself of putting together this really incredible festival and miracle lineup this year. I really just think it's fantastic, and I was like,
Thank you.
man, if I had any money, my birthday's August 30th. If I had any money, I would take myself on a trip to New York City and go to this festival. And the cool thing is the festival is very affordable. It's $100 VIP ticket to see some of the greatest songwriters of all time, some of the coolest new bands now. You know what I mean? Like so.
That genuinely was my number one concern, to be honest with you. Even having single day tickets like priced at $50 was something I really, really struggled with to do.
Sure. You also probably run a risk of not being able to pay anybody if you don't like, because I know how much
That's it.
I know how much this stuff costs.
That's it.
I've played lots of music festivals. I've put on festivals. I've booked bands. I know, I always make it, I'm from Iowa, so sometimes it was more affordable for me to book Elf Power to come play in my town than it was for me to have to drive to Chicago or Minneapolis.
Right. Right.
Because you don't know it, but in 2000, whatever, one, you could book Elf Power in the Masters of Hemisphere for $300 in your own town.
Oh, that's amazing.
Have your own band open for them. You know what I mean? Like,
That's awesome.
so why am I going to drive to Chicago when I can just
Yeah.
book them in my own town and have all my friends come and see
Yeah.
one of my favorite bands, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you make a great point, and that's actually like the scariest the scariest thing about doing this festival. It's kind of what this, it's like I've worked in music, for a long time, but I've never really put together a festival like this before. And and that's what's really scary about it, because in trying to keep it, in trying to keep it very independent, I don't have outside financiers behind it. Um,
I noticed
or
it wasn't the Budweiser Bazooka.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Comerica doesn't have a booth set up inside.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There's not like a Red Bull Academy state,
Oh shit, I'm not going.
um, but that's something I'm very much learning because of this year, is if I did have people or try to work with people to help offset some of these costs, it's painful. It's like painful for me to look into it.
Yeah.
And I actually had a discussion with Bandcamp, and I was like, look, like Bandcamp Friday is such an incredible thing you do for bands. You're probably the most important site for independent music that's out there right now. Like, you give bands a platform to sell their stuff, and this is an independent festival. Is there any way you can help? And they were like, well, we can't, like, financially we can't, but this sounds really cool, and we're happy to help boost it. Like, we'll share it on socials, and if you want us there to, talk with bands or hand out things, like, we'd be down to do that. I'm like, that's great. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
really all I'm all I'm asking for. So, this just happened last week. This conversation just happened last week. So.
I saw it. I saw it on Bandcamp.
Yeah. Oh, wait, on Bandcamp?
Oh, wait a minute. No.
Oh, maybe they shared it. I think they shared it on Blue Sky and Facebook like yesterday or Thursday.
I thought it was in there. That might have been it. I apologize. Go ahead.
No, all good, all good. But this festival, it really is something that when I'm pitching bands, I'm like really trying to stress. I'm like, it's literally just me. It's literally just me. And the success of this really does hinge on people coming. Like, that's, it's,
Yeah.
and that's like a scary thing to do. And, I will admit, like, after we announced, it was a bit stressful, because, I'm like, is this too expensive still? Is it, it just the ticket, people buying tickets, it's just a different pace. Like, for me, like, as soon as I would see something like this, I'm like, oh my God, I have to get a ticket.
Yeah.
And I think that's changed now more and more.
I said I was looking into getting an airplane ticket because of the line. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you. But I think it's great. So, like, Stephen Merritt, Dan, like, those two came through. Like, the reason why they're there is really their agents, Rome. It was one of those things where it's like, I don't know if I can afford them. It's like, even if I sell out, I don't know if I could still afford these guys. And I give them a lot of credit, because, Allie, who works with Dan, I'd actually been looking into, I'm like, oh, would new pornographers do it? And they couldn't do it. But Allie was like, well, what about Destroyer? I'm like, there's no way.
Right.
And she was like, no, I think he would really love to do this. This sounds like something he'd be really into.
Jesus saves the writing on the wall. Mentions honey playing a game with the waves. You can follow a rose wherever it grows. So you could fall in love with Times Square. Times Square.
And they really worked with me in a payment structure that made it possible to have them, because I think they genuinely saw, oh, this seems like a cool thing for them to be a part of, and it sounds interesting. And I'm lucky that all the bands kind of understand that. It's like, it's just me. I probably can't pay you what you would usually get at a festival. Like, I don't have backers. Is this okay?
And
And
a lot of other really great bands to see.
yeah, thank you.
And
Thank you.
enthusiasm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's one of those things when I started working in music, everyone was like, "Oh man, you get jaded so fast. Like you get jaded in music so fast." And there's a lot of hard, and awful stuff in the music industry. I've been very fortunate to work with people where I didn't have a lot of those bad experiences or those moral dilemmas.
Mhm.
And it outside of the work I'm doing, like I'm just still a fan. At the end of the day, it's like I worked at Matador, I worked at all these other places, but I'm still just that guy from Castro Valley who loves going to record stores or perusing Bandcamp to see what people are doing out there and wanting to help spotlight them and put a show together for people that's affordable, but gives them an opportunity to see some of their favorite artists.
Just forces of nature in love with a radio station. You can follow a road to the ocean. Times Square.
Jake, I had an idea that I wanted to run by you, and completely feel free to say no to it. And this is more of a pitch that's not like gonna be in the episode.
Out now? Are we getting airplane tickets? What's going on?
No, nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me coming. I can't do that. I have work.
Dang.
But
Oh man.
would it be possible for you to give away either 1 or 2 tickets? And my thought is, normally we do giveaways for our Patreon. That wouldn't work for this because our Patreon members are scattered all over the world. Giving away a ticket on there wouldn't make sense because the person that won likely wouldn't be able to go. But I was thinking if we put a keyword in the episode and tell people that are listening that you have to message us the keyword that you heard in the episode, and that will enter you in for a drawing to win 1 or 2 tickets. If you don't if you're not into the idea of doing that, that is absolutely fine.
I am so into the idea of ticket giveaways. We're doing one with the student station at Rutgers, and I love this. So in whatever way you want to do a giveaway, I am so into it. And if you want, we can do 2 pairs.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Let's do 2 pairs.
We'll have 2 winners, and each winner gets 2 tickets. That's amazing.
Exactly. That's the other thing. It's like bring a friend. It's like,
yes.
It's like I want to do, I like with these ticket giveaways, I like doing pairs because, you want to bring a friend with you if you win.
Patrick, how do you feel about us doing that where we put a keyword in there that the people have to message us, and that's how they get entered in?
Okay, what's the keyword?
Because I'm assuming that anyone that takes the time to listen for the keyword and then send it to us will be available to go if they win the tickets.
We're gonna say the keyword at the end of this episode, so you got.
Yeah. I'm gonna force you to listen to the damn thing to get into the contest. Yeah.
Now, I love that.
Now the coolest thing of for us here today, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, so we'll do the thing that I had talked about before. Now I love what you said about the E6 movie. I love what you said about Adam's book, and that you had read that and you were a fan of E6 music and stuff, and that you were having the Garment District Giant Day, Great Lakes this year. Who are all E6 affiliated, and of course Elf Power headlining last year. So we asked Jake before the episode here that we were recording if he would come up with his top 5 Elephant Six affiliated songs ever, but the only thing is you can't repeat any band. So you can't just say the first 5 green typewriter songs on Dusky Cubist App. Might be mine. So you can't say the same band over and over again. So can you give us your 5, and you can count them down, or you can say no particular order, and then we'll just talk a little bit about each song, and then we'll let you get back to it. But okay, so Jake, your top 5 all time Elephant Six songs, no repeat acts, go.
I was literally up till past midnight last night stressing about this. And like this was like one of the hardest questions.
Because
Like,
you have nothing else going on right now. So this is good,
no, but I take this very seriously.
good distraction.
Okay. I think I've got to start with Olivia Tremor Control. Obviously, the big anniversary was this past week, but for me, Love Athena
Yes.
is such a massive song. To me personally.
To start off the California Demise EP that way,
Yeah.
it's a kick in the teeth that I love every single time.
Exactly. Just fist in the air, like, yes.
Yeah.
And I think at one point I read that that's Jeff from Neutral Milk Hotel's all-time favorite song.
Oh, amazing. Amazing. I didn't know that. The song actually, my partner Kira was like, we were trying to think, we love doing covers in our band, and we were opening for Second Grade, and she was like, it'd be fun. What if we did Love Athena by Olivia Tremor Control? And I went, oh my God, that's such a good idea. I love that song so much. And we became obsessed with it. And I even have a Tascam 4 track. And right when she said that, I'm like, I got to record a cover of this. Like I'm so excited. And
You have the recording of it?
I do.
Can we play it at the end of the episode?
Okay. I'm so
That'd be
embarrassed by
amazing.
it. I'm so embarrassed by it.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, we
Keyword, everybody, is cover.
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 That's it.
I
Cover.
like
Yeah, for sure. I'll share it with you. The unfortunate thing is around the time of the show is when we heard Will passed away. And again, like because of us talking about, we've been talking about Elephant Six and the festival. We've actually gotten to know so many Elephant Six people, just friendly online friends. And I never got to meet Will, but that was, it was huge. And so we learned the cover as a band very, very quickly. And I think it was a day or two later was the show, and we played the song at the show. And so now whenever I hear it, I don't know, it still, I don't know, still feels like it did, that day we heard about Will, where it's like, it's a mixture of like, this is such an amazing song, even though Bill wrote it, Bill, I think it was a Sunshine Fix song first, if I'm remembering correctly, which is how my band name came around. It's Sunshine Confection. But anyway, love Athena.
Really?
Yeah. True story. I was like, oh man, Sunshine Fix, oh Sunshine Convention. But yeah, so guys started Love Athena. The second one, if you want me to move on to track 2,
Let's do it.
also ties into this whole, the Elephant Six documentary, is Radiation by Apples in Stereo. Until this morning, I actually had Motor Car because I love that song so much. I love the Science Fair compilation, and Motor Car is just that head, it really shows
That
Robert's,
amazing lo-fi, yeah.
yeah, it's just it's very heavy. It really Robert's love of metal, I feel like, comes through in that song in an interesting way, because it's like da 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 da. Anyway,
Yeah.
Griffin. It's Griffin.
But then this morning, I was like, wait, Radiation, because at the end of the screening we were at, Robert was actually there, and I know he hadn't played in a long time, and they set up 2 microphones. He did a brief Q&A, and then was like, okay, I'll do 2 songs. And he did Radiation. I think he did Radiation first. And all of us were a 6-person band, and we all just kind of broke down. We were like, oh my God. After watching that movie and then hearing the lyrics of that song and hearing that song stripped back to just Robert and an acoustic guitar, it's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful song. And, I think that's the case with a lot of Elephant Six bands. It's the production is incredible, but a lot of times when you strip it back, the poetry and emotion that's behind a lot of those amazing, Beatles-esque symphonies, it still hits you. So I had to put Radiation on there.
Good choice.
Song number 3 is Maroon Bible by Beulah.
Oh, a little Bay Area choice.
A little Bay Area, exactly.
Yeah.
I got to throw some love to the Bay.
Yeah.
I came across Beulah because of my coworker Aaron. He's the publicist at Matador, and we were just talking Elephant Six, and he was like, I think Beulah doesn't get a lot of love. I'm like, I don't know Beulah, and I picked up what was it called? Western.
Her Western States or whatever.
Handsome Western States.
Yeah.
And that is the first song on the record. And it had been a while since I picked up a record. I didn't really know what it sounded like. I picked up a CD that's I'm like, I need to find a CD of this. But kicking the record off with that song is just so amazing. And again, the lyrics are pretty funny, and but it incorporates everything I love about that time in particular in Elephant Six, where there's an anthemic chorus in the middle, it'll drop out, and then you have like this wonderful sort of out of tune violin, and then it comes back with like a hit of it's a great pop song.
Yeah, and the production on that, as far as like, like lo-fi rock production, I think that album is just incredible. Like it just sounds like a rock band just ripping,
Exactly.
Good. It's so good.
Exactly. And like it's one of those, as I'm sure a lot of us do with Elephant Six recordings, it's like every time I listen to it, I start focusing on it a little bit more. I'm like, how it's pretty sparse, but how did they mix it? Why does it sound the way it does? And like the more and more recently I've been hearing the acoustic guitar coming through, I'm like, oh, that's giving like a resonance on these electric guitar songs.
And the thing I've always loved about E6 acoustic guitars, it's like all the trebles like all the way up.
Yeah.
Rhythmic because it's like super trebly and I've had many conversations with Bill Doss or Robert Schneider about like production things over the years, and of course they just dumb it down. It's like, yeah, it's just we turn the EQ up. It's like some sort of magical secret that they pull out a rabbit out of a hat. Like, this is the way to make music sound cool. It's like we talk to Andrew from Elf Power all the time about input guitar solos. He's just like, yeah, just threw the rat pedal right into the 4-track. It's amazing.
Yes, the wonders of the rat pedal.
Yes,
we will.
That Beulah record, I've always thought it's just like, wow, it's such a great recording, and you can see how talented they are, and of course the melodies and the great.
We got to get those albums reissued at some point, or they do at the very least.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Look, Beulah. Even last year, I was like, my dream, like a dream, would be if like we could ever get Apples to play. Or Beulah. It's like those are like my, it's like Thinking Fellers Union, Beulah, the Apples in Stereo. But with Beulah, again, if they ever hear this, I apologize, Miles and Bill and everyone in the band, because I've been messaging them, just trying to get in contact with someone from the band, asking them about the festival.
Have you messaged Bill Swan?
I did. Yeah. Bill, I messaged him through his Substack, and he responded amazingly. And then it was like a day or two after, like Miles emailed me, and I was like, "Oh my God!" Like Miles is in my inbox, and obviously it didn't pan out, and I don't know if it ever will. But as is the story, something I hold dear about this festival so far is everyone I've met, even if they can't play or don't want to play, I've struck up such a nice correspondence with people, and have more like internet friends that will message. And like Miles and I struck up like a very nice email chain talking about like the Mets and the horrors of the G train. but Beulah, if that ever happens, guys, if you're ever thinking about it, please, we won't even announce you. I just want to hear the songs.
That's amazing. I saw them once open for Cake.
That's a pairing.
Yeah, and it was hilarious because of course I talked to Miles afterwards, and he was in a real frustrated mood. So it was it's kind of an interesting evening.
Yeah.
He was having a rough night, but they were awesome. They were incredible.
Yeah.
And they played like this kind of like legendary old, place in Des Moines where like Louis Armstrong and the Beach Boys have played. So
my God.
It was one night for me, but I think he was having a rough night, but
hey guys, real quick, and I'm sorry to do this. I gotta take off. Just take your time, finish up, and thank you very much, Jake, for coming on the show. And also, I'm very excited about the ticket giveaway. We'll make it awesome.
But Matthew, what's the keyword for our listeners?
Cover.
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 Yes.
Cover.
All
Thank
right,
you.
love you, man. We'll see you later.
Thanks so much. Good to meet you.
Bye, guys.
Yeah. All right, we are to number 4.
I'm so sorry for rambling.
Oh, this is great.
Number 4, really quickly, the glands, possibilities.
Ooh. Ah.
Any opportunity I can take to talk about the glands, I will take, because I genuinely think they are one of the best alt rock bands ever. And Ross was such a genius, but Derek,
Also very underappreciated band, I think. Even
yeah.
in I think when you go to Athens, they were one of those bands kind of like OTC where everybody's like, well, they were the best, they were one of the and or whatever, but like
Yeah.
very kind of unheralded in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, for sure. Like I'm trying to think if I've met someone who knew the glands when I brought up the glands, and it's, we're just so, like, Kira and I are so evangelical about this band. And with, with Double Coda, I know Derek played bass in the glands for a while, and him with David Barbie helped complete, the last glands record. And like Derek is just such a genius. Like, he has had a hand in so many iconic, wonderful records, in addition to having his own project, Giant Day. I love Derek. I'm actually so excited that Giant Day is playing, because I was like, any way to get Derek, to meet Derek would be such a dream.
He's such an architect of sound, and he's just everything he touches, he makes better. Whether
for sure.
Of Montreal, Elf Power, when he joined OTC, his work on the new OTC record.
Mm-hmm.
I can't divulge too much about that, but it's incredible. He's incredible. And I love Giant Day. The 2 records that they've put out have been really fantastic as well. So I'm excited that you have them. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think Derek, it's such a difficult and delicate thing to, take on a project after one of your bandmates has passed away, especially if it's the, creative leader of the band. And, just talking with producers or band members who've experienced that, I understand how hard it is to complete something without them there. But I think with Double Coda, listening to that record, I'm like, the amount of care that Derek and David took to finish that record, it feels like such a natural evolution from the self-titled record. And Impossibilities in particular, I think, is so beautiful. It's to me, it's like one of the most romantic songs I've ever heard. But the production of it, and the mixing of it is just, I don't know, the amount of care and delicacy that it takes to mix a song like that after someone has passed away. I can't imagine going through. I know he's doing the new Olivia record too, which makes me, as a fan, just so excited, because I saw his work on, the glands, and how much care he took into finishing that record. I'm very excited to hear what he did with Olivia Tremor Control.
Yeah, well, I think for fans of the Olivia Tremor Control, there. I mean, I'm very honored I've gotten to hear it already. It's number 3. You know what I mean? Of the one, there's 2, there's 3. They all are this big world of brilliance, and of course, that's my favorite band ever.
Yeah.
So Beatles, Pavement. So I'm.
Yep. Hearing those songs come out already, it's like, it's just such a joy, to hear Bill and Will singing like songs I haven't heard before. And it sounds so much, it just sounds so much like them already. So I'm so stoked.
The first time I listened to it, I was bawling my eyes out, because Bill was my favorite. He was my hero. And it's, people will be very excited. And there was great care taken, with Derek, and then also Jason Nesmith of Casper and the Cookies, who was in a band with Joe Rowe, who was also in the Glands.
The Joe Rowe.
There you go.
There you go.
And then Ron Horseman as well kind of, helped with the culmination of it all. So um, yeah, it's super exciting. So, all right, we've come to number five. So
It's number
far,
five.
we have OTC, we
Yep.
have the Apples, we have Beulah, we have the Glands. What are you gonna round off number five with?
I have to round off number five with Elf Power. I
Awesome.
have to with the Arrow Flies Close.
It feels like I'm in danger, distracted by all that I see. And even the nodding strangers can tell what is happening to me. Well, the boats we ride have been leaking lately, and the toll closing time has been increasing greatly. There's a knot in my throat, and the arrow flies close, closer all the time, closer all the time.
Ooh,
Um, that record is brilliant in general, but I think The Arrow Flies Close encompasses everything I love about Andrew's writing and just the collective in general and the people who play on these records is because the ambition and the compositions are so beautiful and so lush, and they're working with like tape recorders and like anything they can do to achieve the sound that they're hearing in their heads. And The Arrow Flies Close is to me like the perfect mission statement. I think, when I think of like Elephant Six, a lot of the times outside of Olivia Tremor Control, I specifically think of this song. It's psychedelic, it's whimsical, it's, you know, I think he's using, it's either a theremin or the saw to create that like whirring sound in there. And it was the first song I ever heard by Elf Power, and I was instantly obsessed with them ever since. And to hear them play that at the festival, like they were the last band last year, and I believe that song came pretty close to the end of their set. It was just like such a emotional release where it's like, we made it, we did it.
You got through. You stepped through the portal of a successful festival.
Yeah.
And they play it so different live.
Yeah.
Like on record, it's a very, dreamy kind of whimsical song like you're talking about. And then live, I have, that's a band I've seen probably, over 10 times and been lucky enough to play with them a bunch. But that is a song that has always kind of made through the set list over the years, but they always kind of play it. It's a lot more rockin' live.
Yeah.
Kind of has a different tempo and kind of gets to like this epic proportion.
It does, yeah.
I could see how that emotional release could have happened during that, because
totally
they do take it up a notch live.
Yeah, it felt triumphant.
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, Andrew, like meeting Andrew and Laura and Brian, Dave, like, again, just like everyone I meet who is a part of this orbit has just been so open, so kind, so down to help. And, we've just been, I do think that's a rare thing to experience. Laura told us like great stories about Ross from the Glands. Like she recorded stuff with Ross. I don't think it ever got released, but for me and Kira, hearing them, tell us stories about all these people that we love and were inspired by, was so huge for us. And Elf Power again was, outside the Olivia Tremor Control, was like probably my favorite Elephant Six band for a long time. And that song always always gets me. So
Yeah, well, that's so cool. It's so cool that you've had them at the fest. And thank you so much for joining us today. Congratulations again on the greatest lineup of a music festival since 1967's Monterey
oh
Pop.
my God. That's too kind.
Let's list them
That's
off.
too kind.
Start listing them. Give me 10 bands from this festival. Now.
Oh, okay, we got Times New Viking, Cloud
Boom.
Nothings. We got Stephen Merritt, Destroyer, Joanna Sternberg. We've got the Garment District. Jennifer's been a amazing person.
She's incredible.
She's so great. Great Lakes, Giant Day. We got Lex Walton, who I'm so excited to see. Some incredible bands out of Chicago, TV Buddha, and Uniflora. We got, Louisville, Kentucky's Parking. We have Josephine Network, who is like one of the greatest local rock stars ever. She's just, I'm obsessed with her. Love Burns. God, there's, I don't know. It's
an incredible lineup.
Thank you.
It's so, for a fan of indie rock and for a fan of great songwriting, you've really kind of like, I think having Dan and Steven on the same bill, it's like, that's kind of like having like, I don't know, T.S. Eliot and Shakespeare on the same bill.
I wandered in these big blue shoes till we had nothing left to lose. Nobody wants you when you're a circus clown. I should know. I looked all over town.
I mean, about as good as you can get.
Yeah, it really was, honestly, asking Dan after I've been, it started with Dan, and then I wasn't sure if it was going to happen. And when I asked about Steven, it was like, let's just ask.
Yeah.
But, doesn't hurt to ask. And they're like, hey, we might be interested in this. I'm like, oh my God. And then Dan came back. They're like, well, let's try to make this work. I'm like, Jesus, is this actually going to happen? And then Joanna, her new album is being produced by Steven.
Yeah, I saw that. And her last record was my favorite record of that year.
Same. It's one of my favorite records that have come out in years. She's just, they're such like an incredible songwriter. And I was like, I have to have them. I have to have them before Steven, with Steven. Again, try to like, program friends together and people together. So, but I really appreciate you having me on here and let me ramble for so long.
Well, if I win the lottery tonight, I will buy the $500 plane ticket and I will be there. So
there's always next year. Fingers.
Yes. Well, man, if the lineup can be better than this year, holy shit. But I really appreciate you coming on. So good meeting you. Congratulations.
So good meeting you.
And tell people when the festival is and how they can get tickets.
Absolutely. So the festival is August 22nd and 23rd. It's taking place at the Meadows in Brooklyn. You can get tickets. We have a link on our Instagram. That's at Bazooka Fest BK for Brooklyn on Instagram. And yeah, that's probably the easiest way to point people in that direction.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Jake, thanks so much. And thank you for heralding the world of Elephant Six and for heralding the world of indie rock. People who haven't seen the Pavement movie, go see Jake starring Schwartzman in the Pavement movie. And so great meeting you and keep on rocking. You're awesome.
Thanks so much, Patrick. This was such a joy and honor.
Join us next week as we wrap up our conversation with Michael Turner of Happy Birthday to Me Records. Until then, do what brings you joy and make sure to listen to some good music while you're at it.